Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dive into the amazing story hidden inside just a single Chinese character. It's basically a whole visual story, packed into a few simple lines, and it tells you so much about how language grows and changes.
All right, so take a look at this character on your screen. What does it look like to you? Just your first gut reaction. If you're like most people, you're probably seeing a person kind of trapped inside a box. And guess what? You'd be exactly right.
That simple observation, a man in a box, is literally the key to unlocking this character's entire meaning. So let's break it down piece by piece. First up, we've got that outer frame. This part, pronounced wei, is probably one of the most straightforward pieces in all of Chinese. It just means an enclosure, a border, or, a box. And then, sitting right there on the inside, we have this character. This is ren, and it just means man or human. It's one of the very first characters most people learn. So we have an enclosure and we have a person. Simple enough, right? So when you put those two parts together, you get this character. Qiu, which is pronounced kyo, and its meaning is exactly what it looks like. Prison, or the act of imprisoning someone. It's incredibly intuitive. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, the story of that little character for man is so much cooler than it looks at first glance. You see, that simple, symmetrical stick figure that we use for man today is actually a super streamlined, modern version of a much older and way more detailed picture. Now, check this out. The contrast here is what's so wild. On the left is the ancient form. It looks totally different, right? It's asymmetrical, it's curved. That's because it's not supposed to be a person facing you. It's a person seen from the side. The logic here is just brilliant. The original drawing showed a person in profile, facing to the left. That shorter left stroke was meant to be the front of the body, and the longer, curved right stroke, that represented the human spine and their back. Of course, over thousands of years, it got simplified for faster and easier writing into the version we all use today. So now that we have that deeper knowledge, let's put our main character, Shu, back together and see how this new understanding makes it even better. So, you see, this isn't just some generic stick figure stuck in a box. It's a stylized picture of a human being with a front and a back physically contained within an enclosure. That ancient visual logic is really what gives the character for prison its power. But this brings up a really great question. If she means prison, how do you specify whether you're talking about the person in prison, the place itself, or the action of imprisoning someone? Well, Chinese has a pretty clever solution for this. The character Chu acts as a kind of root concept. To get more specific, you just pair it up with a second character. So add han, which means offender, and you get shu fen, a prisoner. To talk about the action, you can add jin, which means to forbid, and that gives you shu jin, to imprison. And to talk about the physical place, you can add long, which means cage, and you get shu long, the prison itself. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This idea of pairing characters to create new, specific meanings might seem a little complex. But if you're an English speaker, you actually use this exact same logic all the time. And this illustrates the connection perfectly. Think of she as the root word prison. In Chinese, you add another character, like fan, to specify the person. In English, we just add a little suffix to the end, to get prisoner. Same idea. To specify the action, Chinese adds a character like jin, while English adds a prefix to the beginning, im, to get imprison. It's the same fundamental logic, just expressed in a more visual way. So we started with a simple man in a box, and we ended up discovering an ancient profile drawing, a story about evolution, and a system of language that's surprisingly parallel to English. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other ancient picture puzzles are hiding in plain sight inside the words we use every single day?